Okay, so the answer to these three problems, and this is what we teach in the class, is group like tasks together. So I'm reading it in order because I start at the bottom. Group like tasks together and then schedule them in your calendar. So for example, if you're going to do follow-up, so follow up with all your leads or follow up with the the tasks that you've assigned to your staff, right? You group it together in a specific time and you schedule in your calendar. So for example, for me, I do email 3 times a day. That's it. I mean, I could do email all day long and live out of my inbox, and that's all the work I do. But no, I do my email for half an hour in the morning, a half an hour in the middle of the day, and a half an hour at the end of the day. And guess what? That's all the email I ever need to do. Now, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails in my inbox, but that's all the email I need to do because I group them together, and I'm so focused during that time to get through my email. Another example is for billing, we do all of our billing at a specific time every day. That's it. That's the only time available for billing, and that's all the time that's allotted, and that's you go from start to finish, and you just do all the steps that you need to do for all the billing. Does that make sense to people? So probably a lot of you are, have technicians out on jobs, and they go from job to job to job to job for most of the day, and then they come back, and they have to do their reports, right? Or kind of their in-office work or whatever it is. So what you want to have a very organized way for them to do that. It would not be efficient for them to go to a job and then come back and file the report, or go to the job and at the job as they're finishing file the report. It would make, that is kind of transition time. We're going from, does that make sense to everyone?
So just to be clear about how this looks in our actual business, every bit of what we call business maintenance work, all the processes in our business are actually scheduled in everybody's calendar at a certain day of the week, right? Some stuff happens every day, some stuff happens every week, some stuff happens every month, but it's actually at a time. It's Tuesday at 12:30 or whatever it is, right? This process happens. And all of that, and it doesn't happen any other random time, right? So if leads get followed up with between 10:30 and 11:30 every morning, and this other process happens this other time over here, and billing happens on Tuesdays, and like that. So everybody comes in, and there's crystal clarity about what every single person in the entire organization is doing with their day. There's never kind of like the wandering around thing, which is a huge, huge, huge time saver,
yeah.
Right?
So then the next part of the process is create a process. So anything that you're doing more than once. So if you've done something once and now all of a sudden you're doing it again, and you want to create a process for it. And this is where you actually create the checklist. Like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So every single employee in our organization knows if they have done it once, that's okay. But if they're doing it the second time, on the second time, they're creating a process. And they write it out and they give it to their manager. They're like, here's the process I've created. And we've had little contests in our business around creating processes. Like, okay, we'll give people like movie tickets or whatever for the most processes created this week. So you can your staff is creating the processes for you, and then you're reviewing them to make sure that they're complete and accurate.
So we literally have, and we got to keep moving here quickly, but we literally have, we have a very complicated business with a bunch
50 employees.
50 employees, which is, probably, average-ish for this room, but we have a bunch of different departments and a lot of different things going on. And we literally have business processes written down, an actual process. We have a book for every department, and we didn't write it. We, by meaning she and I. The employees did that. And they did it over the last, 18 months-ish. And they know that when something falls through the cracks, they fix it, and then they go fix the process in the books, right? So these are living documents that actually get used. It's also, of course, our training manual. It's everything else. So we got to keep moving. But this whole process of creating processes is crucial.
Okay, and then the last part, the step here is execute. And what you do to execute is either you do it yourself, you delegate it to someone else. So a lot of times in the beginning, if you're just an entrepreneur starting out, you're doing these processes yourself. So you want to get really efficient.
disciplined about running your calendar.
Running your calendar.
Doing what you said you'd do in the calendar, making it happen.
And then, every time you do a task more than once, you've wrote a process for it. And the process is so well written that eventually you're hiring staff and you're like, okay, here's the book. Do this. And there's no questions, asked. There's not like, hey boss, on this one thing, I wanted to do this, or there's no questions asked. It's here's the process, and now you're not getting interrupted. It eliminates transition time. Or if you can, and you'll be surprised, you automate as much of the process as you can. You have a robot do it, a computer program do it, and we'll talk about that.
Actually, maybe not. We're going to run out of time here, but writing the processes for our people is access to moving up, right? You can't change your job until you're able to delegate it. And you're able to delegate it when you've written the process and hand it off successfully, right? So this is built into our culture and how we run things here. So do it yourself, delegate or automate. Obviously, we have a piece of software that's designed specifically for automating processes. A lot of people use it for delegating marketing and sales. This is the kind of stuff that people do. So we think about automating the customer life cycle. The customer life cycle is about first you generate leads, then you manage those leads and make sales, then you actually fulfill the promise, and this is all totally wrong. After these slides were just sent to us late last night. And then it's about generating referrals and more business from those leads, right? So you got to make sure you get repeat customers and referrals from those sales. So there's all these individual processes in lead generation or lead management. You got to capture leads, you got to follow up, you got to make proposals, and every one of those things is a process that needs to be designed. And in our software, you can actually automate it. And I may have time to talk about a little bit about that.
So I wanted to give an example really quickly because I know hiring is such hiring and attracting talent is like one of the challenges you guys all face. So we've attacked this problem just like we attack generating leads. We attract new talent and treat them like as if they were potential clients. So we have, separate from our product website, we have a careers website. And on the website, it really talks about our mission, what their life is going to be like. We have videos from our employees. We have employee testimonials about how awesome it is to work there. We spell out the whole benefits package. We put their job descriptions up there. We talk about the culture, the fun activities we're going to be doing together. We talk about the demographics of the staff, how old they are, the activities they like to do in their free time. What?
We have 4 minutes.
Okay. Yes.
I know you're short on time, but Joe will let me extend it a little bit.
You just got permission.
Let's just do something that's comparable to our world for a second. So you folks have CSRs, correct?
Yeah, customer service reps.
Mm-hmm. So kind of give us an example of what a CSR comes through, and obviously they learn the process that somebody else wrote for them and they're doing it. What's their creative time look like for a CSR?
Well, for our customer service reps, they are our most entry-level employees. So we have what we call an apprenticeship program where they can learn different areas of our business. So this is part of the career path. So they can, take an apprenticeship in sales. They can take an apprenticeship in, the technical, we call it tech support, where they learn like, some coding type stuff. They can take an apprenticeship in our services department where we actually, we have a paid services department. They can take an apprenticeship in our design department. So any area of the business, we have kind of a training apprenticeship that they can spend their time doing. So then
this goes back to getting people working in their talents, right? Having people find the part of the business that resonates with them.
So just so I'm clear, they're going to spend 20 hours or so on their maintenance work, CSR stuff, and then they're going to go over to where their talents are, or what you
they're discovering, because these are kids, right?
Together,
right?
Yeah.
And they're going to do this apprenticeship and learn the craft.
Right. So a great example of this is we had hired an office manager, 3 years ago, and now he's one of our top level graphic designers.
Oh, he's becoming a developer.
Yeah, because he's gone from doing design to actually doing some coding, which is amazing.
Which is what his real passion is.
Yeah. So This is an operations, like an office manager who's just ordering supplies and, you know, kind of pushing paper around. And now he's a very valuable employee. The thing is, like, if we were to go out and hire someone with his level of skill now, it would cost us twice as much. But he's totally committed to us. He's never going to leave us. And we're saving a ton of money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Once he gets a boat.
Yeah. I'm going to actually answer that in a little bit of a different way. So what we talked about here is this course called Driver's Ed. And Driver's Ed is a multi-part course. And everything we talked about today, which is about getting efficient so you have project time, is what we talked about in Driver's Ed 101. So as you can imagine, these CSRs are kids, right? They're entry level. They don't understand business. They don't understand the big picture of your thing. They can't even imagine taking on a project and running it and stuff like that. So there's actually Driver's Ed 201 and Driver's Ed 301. So after they completed Driver's Ed 101, the next course is about helping people see the big picture of your business. Because without the perspective on business in general and what your mission is and how your place in the competitive landscape and how the whole thing kind of works together, they don't have a real great ability to contribute great ideas, right? Because they don't get the whole picture, right? So we actually spend another 8 weeks teaching our people to see the big picture of the business. And at the end of that course, they start discovering opportunities and challenges, right? Projects and business come from two places: opportunities and challenges. You see that this thing over here is screwed up, we got to fix it, or hey, I think we could do more if we did this thing over here, right? And you, as the owner of the business, have a certain perspective on all that. But there's a lot of projects that we do in our business. We run like over 100 projects at once. Yeah. That I would never have come up with because I'm not on the ground, so they have amazing ideas once they have the picture, right? So what happens in our organization is that by the end of 201, they're discovering projects on their own, and they actually write directives because it's a one-page project pitch, basically, and they pitch us. And they
and we have it scheduled Thursdays at this time. You can pitch us.
So they pitch us their projects, and then if it seems like a good idea and they seem like the right people to do it, we say yes, and we devote resources to it, and then we actually let them run that project. And Driver's Ed 301 is about project management, basically. So we literally have everybody running projects of their own design. And we had a CSR say to us, you know what, I think that our support site is organized badly and people aren't finding the answers they need in the best way, in the easiest way that they could, so we're generating too many calls because of that, and I'd like to completely revamp the whole thing. And so, he probably wasn't going to be able to do that all on his own, so we coupled him with actually his manager, and the two of them took that on, and we literally are right now launching our totally revamped self-service support site, which for software it's a big deal. It's huge. And it's amazing.
That'll save us so much
it's a big
money.
Right.
Okay, so...
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're going to play a video here of a client that does water purification systems, and he uses our software to run his business.